And I'm going to need my screwdriver, which is here, but I'm going to need a different bit in it. It's probably a number 2. I think, is it a number 2? No, it's not. Number 1. One of these is posi drive, one of these is Phillips. These are posi drive, but I don't think. I think these are Phillips screws. But at this sort of size, it probably doesn't make a lot of difference. Let me just see. I'm just interested. Ideally, you should always get the best screwdriver for the bits, for the screws. No, there's not a lot any difference at this sort of size. They're not deep enough really to have a difference. The difference between Phillips and posi drive, Phillips is what they call a crosshead. It's crossed like this, but posi drive has another edge, tine, whatever you want to call it, in between each of these flutes. Thread lock. Let me put a little bit. Yeah, I said a little bit. And put it in there. That saves me having to put it on the screw. Yeah. I'm looking there thinking, oh, that's not lined up properly. What I'm actually seeing is the edge of the thread lock. It looked like it was the edge of the edge of a piece of metal. Again, these don't need to be fantastically tight. Just bear with me a second. And we're back. Sorry about that, a little bit of domestic stuff to just deal with. So now with the spring in place, you can see it holds it in the right position, and as the trailer cup comes in and couples, it will sit, causes it to sit straight, so it can rock. So that's the first bit. Now, before we actually mount this, the next bit is to, well, in theory, is to build the bit that we've already built, the remote control bit. This would be the manual bit on which we deal with this thing, the manual locking and unlocking. But this is the remote control one, so we've already done this bit. Now what we do here is this bit here is the battery mount. The battery case, which sits underneath the truck, and it should be this part here. It is part D6, this is D, and this is 6. Could be 9, but it's 6. How do you tell whether it's 9 or 6? Look at the way the other numbers are up and the letter D, so you hold it that way and it's a 6. Sometimes though, you can't always tell. Now then, cutters. My cutters are around here somewhere. I've just been using them not that long ago. There we go. We'll do a nice cut these off. Now I might file these down a little bit just because they are really big joins. These are really big because there's a lot of plastic had to get squeezed through them to form this this piece. You know what these are, don't you? This is how plastic this is injection molded. So under really what you've got is you've got a mold that's got that space in it and these spaces in it. These are channel spaces, and plastic is injected here in this center here, and it basically squirts or squeezes down all of these channels here all the way around and fills up the space in the middle with plastic. So it's done under really high pressure, like tons of pressure, literally tons of pressure. And so for big pieces like this you need to get a lot of plastic through, so they've got big connecting pieces into here. The smaller ones don't need as much plastic, so they're thinner. It's quite fascinating when you see how these moulds are made, and when you realise that this isn't to hold the pieces together. Well, it is, but it's not. This is how the plastic actually gets into the mould to make these things. So that just has a sharp edge on it. This being a battery compartment, you do tend to have your fingers around it a bit, so I just want to make sure I get rid of some of the sharp points. Now I could, in theory, paint these. Don't really want to. No particular need to do so, so I'm not going to bother. They're kind of hidden underneath the truck, really. But so what I need to do now is to put a screw in place. What's that screw for? Oh yes, I know what that screw's for. That screw there is probably there to mount the aerial on. Which I won't have because we've not got 27 megs radio or even 35 meg radio. These days we're using 900 odd megs. So the aerials are just, you know, too small. Actually this one isn't. This is the fastening peg, so having looked at it, there's a peg goes in there, there's a strap comes over which holds the battery in place. Okay, so this is in bag ME, which is this one here. No, it's not. Yes, it is. This is bag E. So now I'm looking for that piece that's in there. Scalpel. I could have got all the bits out first. I didn't. So that gets screwed into there using this, which is it. Do not go on the floor. I'll have a trouble finding if you do that. Is that the right one? Yes, it is. Is that the same size? No, it's not. Okay, so that goes in there. And we screw that into here. It's a self-tapping screw. It's into plastic. I don't therefore need any thread lock on this. There we go, it's home. That's it. I'll have to see how that goes. So what I also want out here is piece D5, which is also on here. That's this bit here. You get to recognise these parts just by how they look more than anything. So it's not really, I mean, I'm spending often spending time looking and checking that it's the actual piece that I want, but generally speaking you can't mistake it. Just smoothing these off, just because this you do handle it quite a bit and I don't want to sort of spike myself. Part D1 is also this strap here. And I now need something else that's in here. There should be a metal bar, small metal bar that looks like that, I think. Is there any other metal bars in there? No, there isn't. And I'm going to need 2 screws BC. BB, BC is this one. BC, I think that's all that's in here, self-tapping. BC1, BC1, the self-tapping ones, yes. So one of the other things I've just started to do now is to start looking into lamp working courses, which I've mentioned before, to do glass work, flame work, hot glass, melty glass stuff. It's called lamp work because they used to use little paraffin lamps. I've been looking into being able to do a course on that now. That goes in there. That goes around it somehow, he says. How does that go in there? According to this, that just goes like that. That probably means, yeah, let's turn it over, makes it more obvious. Okay, that goes like that. There's the slot it goes into. This thing goes on top like that, and then we hold that in place and we put these 2 screws in. Just using this screwdriver, it's a little bit easier to handle just to get it started, but then I need the heavy duty or heavier duty. You know what, that's really got the wrong end on it. Let's have a look at that one. That looks like it might have a better, yeah, that's better. That one fits better. Still a number 2, same size as the one I've just been using, but this one's different. It's the same but different. Okay, that's in place, snipped into place. Now then, what happens is you put your battery in there, you put that over there, and the clip goes through there. A sort of a circlip, I don't know what the clips are called, but they sort of go in there. They call it a snap pin, which is in a later section. But now we've got the battery case in place. So first things first is a drink of coffee. Before it goes too cold. Right, now then, we start to mount some of this stuff together with the side frame mounts. So let's get the bits out. So the side frame mounts are in here, I believe. That's one of them. That's another one of them. There should be 4. That's the third of them, and that's the fourth of them. So we get those 4. They mount the side skirts on the frame, and then we need some screws. BC2. I want 14. Do I want 14? Do I really want 14? Yes, I really want 14. Okay. BC2. BC2 machine screws. Okay. Yes, so with a bit of luck, sometime this summer I'll be doing a flamework course. Course is not, well, it is to learn some of the basics if I can, but it's really just, I'm really just doing it in order to see if I like flamework. If I do, I'll be getting the whole flamework setup so that I can do it for myself, learn on the job, learn doing it, so to speak, self-taught, and you guys will get to see me do it, hopefully. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So that should be 14. So I've got to look into where I can do the course just yet. I'm not sure, because I think the place I had intended doing it before, I think maybe doesn't anymore. I don't know, I can't see their advert anymore, so maybe not. Right, so we now start mounting things. I'll put that to one side because I don't need it just yet. We bring this back in. First thing to do is going to be to mount this. Now then, there's 2 sets of holes in this thing, so which one do I use? Well, it's quite easy really. There's only one that works, and that's the one we use. The others don't fit, they're blanked. So yeah, there's 2 holes here. That one goes through into the frame, this one doesn't, therefore that's the only one that's going to work. That's the one we're going to use. Clever in a way like that. Since the radio is at this front end, I'm just going to, before we actually get as far as screwing this in place, I'm just going to take that down the back of there like that, so that the wire's heading in the right direction, because otherwise I'm unlikely, I think, to be able to get it in without unscrewing this again. So thread lock time again. In fact, yeah, I can just put the thread lock into the hole, and I missed there and there. There's more, a lot more than I need there. It's coming, I don't know why it just comes out like that. So this is going to effectively get glued in place more or less. Not really ideal, there's a bit too much thread lock there, but okay, and just don't say nip it up, just give it a little tweak with the bigger screwdriver here.